The following program may contain scenes that are disturbing to viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
There are many kinds of independent wrestling leagues in Quebec. Some of them are family-oriented. Some are hardcore. All are self-regulated. And that has given rise to a wide range of problems. Inexperienced wrestlers taking the stage too soon, dangerous stunts, and in some cases, extreme violence. We warn you, some of the images might be disturbing and are not appropriate for younger viewers. Here again is Leanne Castellino.
Quebec's independent wrestling is a compact fraternity, enticing hundreds of young, hungry, talented performers into a culture of fame and pain.
My worst injury is I fractured my sternum.
It was basically a grapefruit on my tailbone. We don't talk about the injuries too much, because only when we start a match or stuff, we can tell to the other guy, watch my neck, watch my back this week, I'm a bit hurt.
I had a ligament torn in my knee once, about 3 years ago.
Probably a concussion I suffered about 2 weeks ago. I got dropped on my head.
But 2 weeks later, he was back in the ring.
The rule of thumb for concussions is if you're having any symptoms, you shouldn't be competing.
Dr. Scott Delaney often treats injured pro wrestlers in the emergency room at the Royal Victoria Hospital and at the McGill Sport Medicine Clinic. And he doesn't like what he sees.
These are people who are working in factories, working in stores, who once a month try to do things that even the best or highly trained pro athletes would find difficult.
And for those who train more,
the thing that concerns me is actually the heights and the jumping and the objects that are involved that you really couldn't practice jumping down 10 feet onto a table. Some of these moves are done for the very first time in a live performance, and when they're in front of the crowd and the adrenaline is flowing, sometimes caution is thrown to the wind.
Do we really need that portion of the action in order to attract the people and make the show interesting?
A fan since age 7, Yves Leroux attends matches almost every week and writes about them for wrestling websites.
This is something that really hasn't changed over the years.
Leroux says he enjoyed the good old days of wrestling when the moves were less violent, when the wrestlers were mostly older, overweight, out-of-shape men, memorable characters, entertainers, pure and simple.
Commonly see many 13, 14, and 15 years old getting involved in wrestling who might appear to be in good shape but are badly underexperienced.
It's my passion. I love wrestling. I love getting hurt.
Simmons is just 15 years old.
I would like to travel and wrestle against a lot of wrestlers with talent, and maybe do it in the big leagues one day.
Tonight, Simmons plays it safe. But it's a different story with this high-flying acrobat.
This is a good example of a wrestler that's not ready to be in the ring. Although he looked very acrobatic, many of his falls ended up on his lower back only instead of using his arms and his whole back to distribute the fall like all wrestlers are usually taught.
If he gets hurt, he may end up not being missed.
Now there's 300, 400 wrestlers in Quebec, so there's a lot of people. So if one guy doesn't show up, another guy will take his place.
If they get noticed, they may end up in the IWS, one of Quebec's biggest leagues. The International Wrestling Syndicate's owners describe it as Quebec's edgiest league, offering a hybrid of colorful, high-flying, high-impact shows with some of the best talent Quebec has to offer. But hands down, it's also the most hardcore.
Fans were crying out for something more extreme, something more wild, something more adult-orientated, something more believable, and that's what we gave them. We gave them, a wild, violent show for 2.5 hours, and it picked up.
A former hardcore wrestler, Manny is the co-owner of the IWS. In a world where spectacle is superior to sport, the IWS comes close to being raw reality. Case in point, the annual Fans Bring the Weapons night.
These matches are the bloodiest, the matches that cause the most injuries, They're the wildest matches, but they're the matches people want to see.
Oh, my gosh!
Fans are happy. It's almost like they're part of the show. And it is by far the craziest match you'll ever see.
I had to wear goggles because I was afraid for my vision. The match started and ding ding, literally the bell started and I had glass bouncing off my goggles. So when I think fans bring the weapons, I think very scary, but I think for business, it's very good for business because people want to see it.
But the IWS has no insurance to protect its fans. Likewise, it provides no insurance for its wrestlers. As a matter of fact, they have to sign waivers absolving the league's owners of any responsibility for any injuries they sustain. Journalist Yves Leroux says there's little more hardcore shows can do to push the boundaries.
How far can you take it? You know, you don't need to actually dislodge an arm from a body in order to please the fans.
Coming up next.
I mean, we can't control everything.
So where have all the rules gone?
Our wrestlers protect themselves, you know? We don't protect them, they protect themselves. It's their job.
When On Assignment returns.